Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to this presentation day. I'm Ken Baker. I'm the Oracle Alliance Director for Apps Associates. We're really excited about this presentation today. We're going to cover Oracle Analytics product that's just very powerful and a platform that helps support that along with all of a customer's data. And then also some accelerators that we've built to really help the implementation and connect a lot of the data. But we have a great panel today. Really appreciate everybody attending and appreciate the panel presenting today. We have somebody from Oracle, a customer that's actually implemented this FormFactor, and then a VP of Analytics, Miles Gillison, that runs our analytics practice. So I do want to mention a couple things. This is being recorded. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get to them at the end, try to answer those questions. The presentation will probably be about 40 minutes or so. So we should have about 10 to 15 minutes to answer some of those questions. And we do ask that you put on mute as well. So once again, thanks for joining. And I'm going to turn over to Miles and let him kick this off.
Okay, thank you, Ken. This is Miles Gillison, Vice President of Data Analytics and AI at Apps Associates. I'll just run through the agenda. So we'll do some introductions, quick overview of Apps Associates. Then we will have Johnny from Oracle talking to us about the Oracle Modern Data Platform. Now we'll switch gears over to Maruti, who'll talk to us about FormFactor and their implementation of that Oracle Modern Platform, leveraging some analytics accelerators from Apps Associates. We'll go through his experience and his journey in terms of their vision, how the project was executed, talk about what it's like now, what some of the user feedback was, then we'll get into some next steps. Okay, quickly by way of introduction, I'm Miles Gillison. I head up data and analytics. I've been in the data and analytics space for about the past 20 years, focusing on Oracle technologies across a variety of industries, back in the consulting space for about 7 years. So pleasure to be speaking with you today. And I'll turn it over to my colleagues. Johnny, Maruti, would you like to do some intros?
Sure. I'm Johnny Constantis. I lead our North America Cloud Infrastructure Field Engineering team. We help customers ideate, do proofs of concept and implement on Oracle's cloud infrastructure, or OCI.
Hello, everybody. Maruti Sirukuchi. I'm Senior Principal IT Architect in FormFactor. I lead analytics integration and enterprise applications systems in FormFactor.
Okay, great. Let's get into it. Now, just a couple of slides on Apps Associates. So who are we? So we're founded in about 2002, a few folks from Oracle Consulting. We've got locations in North America, Europe, and Asia, 345 active clients, about 1,400 total worldwide employees. Very, very deep in the Oracle space. By far our largest partner across a variety of specializations, including data and analytics, but also implementing Oracle Cloud Fusion applications, doing application infrastructure managed services, and doing integrations. Now, our service portfolio I was just hitting on, we do have an advisory services where we help companies think through their approach to transforming their business digitally. Very powerful and large-scale service offering around implementing business applications. We do integrations, data and analytics and AI, cloud services, and managed services. So managed services where we will run your applications or your infrastructure. Cloud services will help you move your applications to the cloud if that's something you need. If you look at our partnerships, we do have a variety of partnerships. As I say, Oracle by far our biggest partner. Now, if we look at the data and analytics practice, we've got about 125 people, 25 here in the US and 100 offshore. All the people offshore are employees of Apps Associates. They've been with us for, in some cases, 10 years. Our offshore facility is in Hyderabad, and it's a real powerful component of our offering. We have consultants that are skilled across the full spectrum of analytics, from the beginning, taking requirements, all the way through building your data pipelines, doing your data modeling, building your reports and visualizations. We've got quite a large number of certifications. And again, if you look at our partnerships, Oracle is by far the biggest. So that's in a nutshell, that's Apps Associates. Now what we're going to do now is turn it over to Johnny from Oracle to talk to us about the Oracle Modern Data Platform.
Thanks, Miles. Really appreciate it. So I guess to get started, one of the things I want to highlight is Oracle as a company reformed itself, if you will, about 5 years ago to really focus on infrastructure and applications. Now, a lot of the enterprise applications that run the world, you know very well, ERP, CRM systems, applications that run manufacturing, healthcare, in things like the processing of claims and so forth. So many industries rely on Oracle applications for the core of their workflows. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is Oracle's public cloud offering. In many cases, the applications that we know run on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, but it is also a public cloud offering having the full spate of managed services for storage, for compute, but also for managing data and unlocking the power of data. And so this is what we're looking at here today is the modern data platform that runs on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. And we're seeing some of its relationship to the Oracle applications with which you may be familiar. So at the center, of course, as you might expect, is our database services and data aggregation services. So things like data lake, data warehousing, of course, transaction processing, but also the ability to catalog data and ready it for analytics like data flow. All of those are offered as OCI native services, which means they are fully managed. You're not having to worry about scaling them or maintaining them. They are agile and elastic, and there to lever in order to action your data strategy and your AI and Gen AI strategy. So that's at the core of the modern data platform. Now, on the far left here, we see our various data sources, systems of record like ERP, CRM, that is structured data that is held in well-defined data models of those applications. But you see a whole spate of other types of data as well. Sensor data, batch data, streaming data, the kind that might be generated by events that your sensors see, or social media information, which is coming in at real time. And of course, the data that is sitting in shall we say, legacy big data architectures on premises, like Hadoop or big data lakes. So be it structured, be it unstructured, be it batch, be it event-driven, be it sensor data, all of this can be brought into and centralized into Oracle's modern data platform and the various services that you see here, like a data lake for analytics. And in fact, we want to do that because really the power of unlocking data's potential is in taking those silos of data that is sitting in the systems of record, that is being generated by the sensors, and aggregating it such that it can be correlated, analyzed for correlation, used to train a machine learning model. And so by levering the agility of the public cloud and the full spate of managed services here, there's a modernization effect that happens with data. Now, to do this, of course, we have developed all the services that you need to bring the data in and centralize it. And those are seen as integration services on the left here that are going to enable that data movement, that understanding of what type of data we're dealing with. Are we bringing it over as a stream? Are we bringing it over as a large batch of data? So we've developed those data integration services, if you will. But you'll also note and have some of our own that are very well known to folks, like the Golden Gate service that can take data in bulk and put it practically anywhere. But we've also partnered with folks like Informatica, who are particularly adept at the data governance piece of this. And that is to say that we really intend for this platform to be open. we understand that our customers have made investments in third-party tools, capabilities, infrastructures, and our whole point in providing a platform is one that is extensible and one that meets you where you are. So a lot, as you look at this, while a lot of Oracle managed services are on proffer here, the idea is that it's also possible to plug in capabilities that you have invested in via third parties. And that includes the right side of this chart as well, where we're seeing things like generative AI models and ML models. Now, we provide a data science platform. We provide machine learning models out of the box that allow our customers and their data scientists and researchers to get creative with data, to train models, and for developers to build applications on them. But you can also use notebooks from that you are familiar with if you don't want to use our own. So plenty of out-of-box capabilities to get creative with your data, as well as support for third party. And of course, you know, the centerpiece here is Oracle Analytics Cloud. Now, while there are any number of capabilities for data analytics, OAC is, you may know, lauded by the industry and industry analysts like Gartner for its capabilities, and it's particularly called out for being a standout, exceptional, if you will, I think is what Gartner says when it comes to storytelling. So it makes sense. Oracle has been in the business of data for a very long time, and our ability to both correlate and visualize data, particularly that data which is coming from our applications, is a standout. Now, what you're also seeing on top there is a couple different boxes that are telling you what you can do with the results of these analytics. For one thing, Oracle Analytics Cloud is integrated with some of our Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI, AI services. So the idea is for analytics to be made easier by virtue of doing things like natural language search of the analytics data, or document understanding, whereby you can extract things like text and tables and bring them into the analytic capability for better visualization, more in-depth visualization. So a lot of these pieces that you see here, in fact, have integration with OCI's, or Oracle Cloud Infrastructure's, native AI services, document understanding, speech, language, vision, and those enhancements continue to be evolving. One of the interesting things about OAC is that what it produces as analytics then furnish actionable insights to the Oracle business applications. So the Oracle business apps themselves, you're seeing them on top there, ERP, HCM, they themselves have AI capability built in, and they're, in fact, in some cases using the OCI native service, but they can also be triggered by the results of Oracle Analytics Cloud to enact a workflow. Imagine things like you have Oracle Analytics Cloud determines that you're running particularly low on in a product, and your supply chain management and application knows to kick off a workflow to order more. So with that, hopefully I've impressed on you that this is a comprehensive platform, end-to-end supportive of the pipeline, with a whole spate of public cloud, Oracle Public Cloud, or OCI native services that are fully managed. So if we could go to the next slide for kind of sort of a look at the future, I want you to think of the modern data platform, any modern data platform, as a key underpinning to AI and Gen AI aspirations, right? Nothing happens without data. And in order for the data to be levered to train a machine learning model, to augment a large language model, it has to be aggregated and given the capability to be reached into, whether it's by a data scientist, whether it's by a business analyst, so that the its power can be unlocked by virtue of visualization, by virtue of analytics. Now, some of the things that are sort of the latest announcements from us that are going to make this even more exciting, the data platform more exciting, because they are offered as native to the data platform, are the innovations in our Oracle databases. Oracle databases, DB Cloud Service, autonomous data warehouse, autonomous transaction processing. These are OCI native services, and they are getting the benefit of AI and generative AI. So, for example, we've added AI vector search and retrieval augmented generation to Oracle's database service. So what does that mean? That means that you make a prompt of the database. It's turned into a vector query, SQL query, goes out into the database where private data is held and does that search, and then sends it to the Gen AI, the large language model, to augment it with public information. So if I'm asking something of the database, give me the list of films to which I have right to stream, it's going to go in the database and see, contractually what I can do. And then I've asked for certain films, so it's going to go out on the internet and search and marry that information together. So vector search with RAG is really revolutionary. The idea then that you are very quickly able to bring together a search across private enterprise data with publicly available information and quickly get to that response is an amazing thing to think about. Select AI is a new capability in autonomous that is essentially going to take your natural language prompt, whatever it is that you've typed, and turn it into a SQL query. And of course, there's things like MySQL HeatWave, which is pretty unique and powerful. You're sort of marrying transaction processing with analytics, with machine learning in one MySQL database. So again, these are native services that are running on the platform, that are part of the platform. Essentially, when you open your console, this is what you see as your offerings there. We haven't spoken much about Apex, which is probably one of the world's most popular low-code applications. Low-code, no-code. Developers are very quickly able to conjure up a mobile app, for example. But our Apex capability is also has also been infused with our AI services, especially document understanding. So you can make very quick work of document generation workflow or a document presentation workflow, for example. And then finally, last but not least, and we're going to be hearing more about this, there's Oracle Analytics, which itself has added the ability to take advantage of OCI Vision service, and more services are going to be added. The embedded machine learning is key here, because machine learning does what? It adds predictive capability to any application. That's what ML does. It makes any application predictive, and that is obviously something that is really compelling for analytics, and that you're able to, for example, predict a possible health event from biometric data that you've analyzed and married with, let's say, doctor's notes. So lots of exciting things on proffer with the Oracle data platform. And now I'm going to hand it back to the team here to take us the rest of the way through this content.
Well, excellent. Thank you, John. As a consulting firm, we take great comfort when we work with our clients, knowing that the Oracle Cloud can handle really any data use case that is required, including all of the new and exciting AI and Gen AI, and whether it's through Oracle's own native services or open source. So we're very excited about that. Now we're going to turn our attention to Rudy and a company that's implemented some really exciting analytics on the modern data platform. Rudy?
Thanks, Miles. Thanks, Johnny. That's very insightful. In the world of Gen AI, we talk more about the application side, but the other side is where we kind of belong. FormFactor company belong because we are a part of the semiconductor industry. FormFactor is a leader in semiconductor test and measurement equipment. Started in 1993 with over 600 million in revenue as of 2023. We are a key player in the semiconductor measurement market. We have produced over 10,000 probe systems for across the world, and yearly FormFactor produces over 100 millions of memory probes. With 2,000 people across the world working, we are truly a global company. We kind of cater various market segments, starting with AI, Gen AI, quantum computing. We are in the we are in the communication space, 5G, 6G, and IoT space, and we are in the automotive. Even we are in the aerospace and defense segments as well. And our product line mainly is probe cards, but besides that, we kind of produce engineering probe systems, analytical probes, and quantum cryogenic, which is very interesting technology for the future. We produce our probe card and other equipment there as well. Miles, back to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Moody. Now, I know you and I have talked, obviously, you were wanting an enterprise data warehouse, and I think we'd love to hear why you felt that would be beneficial.
Yeah, the data warehousing is an infrastructure. Many companies have different needs, but our need is focused around enterprise data. So enterprise data, it typically, if you say a quote to cash flow, which is the revenue generating flow for any organization. We being in the manufacturing industry, we have various elements related to manufacture as well. But it starts with an opportunity. You price and you quote and give it to customer, and customer sends a purchase order. It converts into sales order. Then we start our manufacturing and ship the product, and we receive the cash, and we plan and budget based on whatever accounting says where we stand. So this code and cash flow will be reciprocated into the set of applications. Every company has their choice of applications. We are predominantly an Oracle shop. If you see, our CRM applications is Salesforce and Oracle CPQ, and we are Oracle EBS R12, and we have a plethora of factory applications built out of Oracle and various databases. And we have EPM Cloud, EPBCS, traditionally called as, for our planning and budgeting. So with this extent of applications, different applications in our quote to cash flow, if some executive asks some basic questions like, what should the FormFactor do to deliver a product faster to the customer? That's a very loaded question. You have to get various insights. You have to compare how we were doing, month on month, year on year. What exactly our baseline to say what is fast, and we have to slice it by like product type, customer type, and business unit and whatnot. But to get the data, you need a bunch of KPIs from various departments. Sometimes you kind of go across the boundaries and gather the information. So these KPIs have to be built and prepared. So the analogy that I got in the internet is, bunch of Lego pieces, right? So there are various ways you can get to the point or answer the questions that executives ask you for, right? So the ideal way, we think, especially for enterprise database, is to make them sort it out and arrange them and make it ready to visually explain a story, so that whoever is consuming the data would be able to understand and come up with an actionable results. So that's the whole idea where the enterprise data warehouse journey started with us and with many other companies as well. Miles?
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Moody. You use the phrase loaded question, and I love that. I think we all know what you mean. You get one of those business questions, and it is a loaded question, and you have to be careful about how you answer it. And you have to look across the different boundaries. That's so true. I think we've all been there. So in order to achieve that, you really need a data vision. And maybe you could talk to us about your vision for data at FormFactor.
Yeah, we started thinking about enterprise data warehouse platform. So there is a question that came as part of your webinar by somebody that do we have data warehouse before? So we have a fragmented data warehouses, but not the enterprise data warehouse that kind of covers the plethora of all the application and the footprint that we have. But we started journey mid 2022 to kind of come up with what we are going to do with our enterprise data warehousing needs. So one of the things that we kind of made decision is coming up with a clear roadmap where we want to be each year on year. So 2023, we thought we'll focus on building the foundation for data, and 2024 is majorly focusing on deliver values, because as I mentioned in my previous slides, there are various applications that is involved in enterprise data. So with that, we kind of came up with entire flow how we kind of roll up. And if you see the data pyramid that we built out, we kind of started with source data applications which are working in silos, and we want to wrap them up into various data provisioning tools. Like that's where the tools part comes into picture. We kind of separated our transactional reporting and data warehouse so that we get more focus on what each application and technology do. That's the major decision that we made. And based on that one, we will roll up to various reporting and ad hoc analysis and scorecards and whatnot. That's our overall focus. But there are two facets to kind of drive this entire data vision. One is the guiding principles, the other one is measures of success. Most of the times we kind of get into this trap of our success is based on what are the insights that we developed, but from IT department side, what are we actually achieving by implementing a data warehouse, right? So we have to reduce the cycle time in obtaining the data information so that we can cater our customers better, and the data quality and data stewardship, because if you have fragmented data, you don't get the quality and you don't get the controls. We have to build that one, and we have to use this technology to kind of do any future mergers and acquisitions faster, right? So to embrace it, that's the whole value for IT department. There are various values comes from different business units as well. And the other facet is guiding principle. So to do this one, it's all about how is matters. So the guiding principles helps us as a guardrails in terms of what we want to do, how we want to do, right? So security, data ownership are the two key features, key aspects that we kind of considered as to be imbibed in every step of our way. And we don't want to jump into a technology without even testing. So we kind of want to do POCs and make sure the technology is right for us and it is scalable. That's how we want to roll out. And with those guiding principles and measures of success, we kind of clearly laid out our multi-year data vision.
Yeah, excellent. And I'll say, Rudy, I think all companies want to answer those loaded questions in an accurate and efficient way, doing it quickly, cross-domain. And I think your vision, your thinking that you and your team did really helped you position you for success. Now, in order to achieve these things, you need a good platform. You need good data, but you need a good platform. And I know that you looked at Oracle as well as other platforms and wound up choosing Oracle. So maybe you could talk to maybe some of the audience is thinking that, what platform should I use? Maybe you could give us some insight why you wound up on the Oracle Modern Data Platform.
Sure. I mean, when we kind of finalize on any technology, there are two aspects that we kind of see it mainly, which is features and cost. Features is like you have a problem, you want to tackle the problem. Do you want a chisel, or do you want a sledgehammer, or do you want what exactly do you want, right? So sometimes our problem might be small, but we might make a larger investment where investment gets wasted, or your technology becomes a shelfware. So we don't want to do that mistake. So features is obviously the first one, and we kind of are looked for cloud native feature, and it has to be vertically and horizontally scalable. So do you want to increase the compute power, or do you want to increase the size of the compute power? So what exactly we want, like, is the application or technology that we are going to go, is it going to support that or not? And we want a consolidated platform so that your development, your infrastructure, and your data service, these are the three elements that are needed to kind of roll out any analytics technology, right? So we don't want a fragmented approach. We kind of want to consolidate so that we can benefit on number of people that we can engage in supporting that platform. And it has to be self-service so that users have to do by themselves, where they don't have to rely completely on IT for mundane reporting needs. And obviously the AI and ML are the the kind of features that enables us natively with the kind of data gathering that we do as part of this process. So those are the features that we looked for, and the cost aspect of it. So when you go for cloud, one of the things that we looked for is where we can scale slowly, right? So for that we need a least level of cost model so that we can multiply it based on our need and we can grow. So OCPU modeling, that is cost modeling that is given by Oracle, is tailor made for us. And there are some additional benefits that Oracle gave in terms of ETL, that we use the tool that we use, and support rewards and whatnot. But behind these features and costs, there is an important consideration that we need to make the project successful and our future investment steadfast. So those are speed and support aspect of it. Speed is kind of how quickly that we can execute the technology investment to the deliverable of what the end results are. That's where Apps Associate came into picture, where how quickly we can bring the data insights to users' hands so that they make the decision in terms of the technology and come up with their future data needs. So we were not thinking in the months of implementation, because those days of long projects is long gone. We have to roll out faster and complete the projects faster, so that you- any new technology usage will be visible to users, right? So that if we don't achieve that one, then we are failing in terms of reaping the benefits at a later stage. And the support aspect of it, so we need to have a a stream of people who can support the platform in the market. That's where Oracle technology fares better than many other technologies. And even Apps Associate has come up with assurance that they have a clear support model they can roll out.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, Moody. So now we've talked about why you've chosen the Oracle platform. That's like, now you've got a world-class playing field, and you want to go out there and you want to build something on it. You want to get something up and running, at the end of which you want happy users. So maybe you could talk us through that process of really getting something up and running.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned in my previous slide, the speed is one aspect which kind of made us to take the decision of going with Oracle platform as well as Apps Associate, because the promise that you made, Miles, you remember there's earlier conversation where I kind of Googled and Apps Associate came, and I kind of sent just a request, and we connected in LinkedIn, right? So the world of bridging the gaps is clearly visible. We don't you kind of came up with the proposal, hey, we have done this one before, we can do it in weeks rather than months, so that you can see, test out the platform. If it works out well and good. So our journey started in December 2022 in terms of setting up the infrastructure. That's where Oracle stepped up and came up with what they called as lift services. They enabled the platform in no time and gave it to Apps Associate, and Apps Associate took around 9 weeks to kind of come up with their initial insights. Those insights are like very complex ones, right? It's not the easy ones any company can give. The Apps Associate gave complex insights like your balance sheets and P&Ls, and we have EPBCS that we use for planning and budgeting. Like you drill down from EPBCS to EBS subledger data, which is going to be very complex route if somebody is in that area. So these kind of things are delivered in 9 weeks, and users were surprised. Like we have done so many projects, but this is the kind of speed that never heard of by users. And we kind of have built various other financial insights, because our release 2, if you see in that picture, is focused on finance. And once we get the confidence, we kind of expanded our initial footprint to other areas like supply chain management, procurement, and vendor hub, and inventory, sales orders, and all these kind of insights. So building the initial data models is always the complex part, because enterprise data warehousing starts with that one. Because if you are from EBS world, there are tons of tables in each module. So how do you build a fact table out of tons of modules that you have, right? Somebody with expertise needs to do it, or if you do it, it's going to take time. It can be done, but takes time. So what exactly you're going to get out of the entire project is what you have to decide upon. So with those releases coming out faster, right? So there are like challenges involved in this project, as well as some of the success factors which we think made this project successful within the timeline, right? I'll touch upon the challenges and success factors because these are very important, is what I feel. The challenges wise, we run into the exact same problems every organization or anybody who is implementing a data warehouse go through. The data quality and data availability. What exactly is this? Data quality means with so many silos of system, everybody maintains their transactional data the way that their needs demanded over a period of time. We have EBS for last 20 years. So it's customized in certain ways, and there are various spin-off applications that built on top of it. There is a redundancy, there is a, dependency, all established in this one. So that's the key challenge where you have to navigate through to kind of come up with what your first insights are, right? So, and another one is transactional reporting and analytical reporting mindset. This is very important because not everything is should be in analytics, is what the industry says, right? So you have a purchase order with like 70 fields, which will be capturing some information of some vendor, right? If you try to see that information as your initial insight, you can see it in analytics, but the value of analytics comes from those fields which can give you more insights across the data. And the decodering, it's more of classification of how we do it. And another classic problem that everybody faces is Excel mindset versus system mindset. So changing that one is uphill task. So somebody using Excel, you cannot make them happy ever with any tool that you give in the market today. So, but you push back on certain things, and we kind of bring the discipline, and you kind of win somewhere and lose somewhere. But we kind of get to the point where we want to go. But the success factors for making this entire project successful, I would say the team is the key thing, right? Like you need to have right system implementation partner, right product, and right team within your organization as well. A combination of these three will make any of these big projects successful. And our leadership has a clear vision, as I mentioned in my data vision earlier, and our change management clearly laid out based on our guidelines or guiding principles that we have. So with these, we were able to hit the dates. But let me turn the tables a bit, Miles, and try to ask you the question, right? So we were able to get successful, and you kind of came up with the proposal, but we were able to reap the benefits of your accelerator. Why don't you touch upon like how did you come up with this accelerator concept, and what is the driving force behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Maruti. By the way, I just have to mention, that's a true story. Maruti reached out to me over LinkedIn. Didn't know Maruti at all. He reached out to me, I responded, and we wound up with a great partnership. So always remember to respond to your LinkedIn messages. Don't ignore them. So our accelerators, so we built these accelerators probably 9 or 10 years ago. We use the phrase accelerator. Really, it's an end-to-end, fully complete solution built on the Oracle Cloud. And what happened is we were building data warehouses for clients with EBS as a data source, or PeopleSoft at the time. And we were kind of doing it over and over. And we thought, well, we really should kind of productize this, piece this together as a solution, because we're already reusing what we built for certain clients. So that's how the accelerators came to be. Now, these accelerators, Apps Associates does not sell these. There's no license cost. When we're done with the project, the customer owns all of the code, all of the objects, all of the artifacts. FormFactor owns all of it. We'll support it if there's a request for that, for sure. But it's yours, and you can take it and customize it and grow it as you like. But it enables you to get live. So you might wonder, well, how did Maruti and team get live in 8 to 9 weeks on a full-blown finance data warehouse, including budget and forecast data from ePBCS and drill down to subledger? Well, that's because it was already built. And what we needed to do was implement it at FormFactor. Now, I must say, Maruti and his team did a really great job at identifying the requirements, because no pre-built solution is going to satisfy every company's requirements right out of the box. And Rudy and team did a fantastic job of saying, look, there are some unique aspects for our environment that we need to talk to you about. One of which is we had to generate, you could think of it as an additional segment in the chart of accounts. It was based on a number of the segments of the chart of accounts, and based on, say, 3 values, we would be generating another value, kind of an extension of the chart of accounts, and that drove a lot of the reporting. So that really helped us get up and running quickly. So at the base here, what our accelerators are, first, there's a pre-built data pipeline using Oracle Data Integrator. So that pulls the data out of EBS and populates a data model that we have built and refined over the last 9 years or so. And it's a shared data model across finance, HCM, procurement, supply chain, and master data. So what it allows you to do is to drill up and down vertically. If you want to go, GL subledger, you can also go horizontally. You can go from, AP to procurement. You can go from GL to AR. And it gives you that ability to answer very quickly those loaded questions that Marudi was talking about. Then what we've also built is a semantic model, and that is, frankly, one of the benefits of Oracle Analytics Cloud. The semantic model is a logical layer. There's no data stored in the semantic model. It's literally a file, but there are definitions in the semantic model. And the first layer of definitions removes the complexity of the underlying database tables. So your users they have no idea what those underlying database tables are, and they don't need to. So that's the first layer. We use nice business-friendly terms there. We establish hierarchies there. We establish relationships among those database tables. We'll establish metrics there, net income, gross margin, days sales outstanding, so that your end users don't have to worry about building all of that offline. They already have those right there. And that's all done in the semantic model. It's a great way to enable self-service. So we've got a pre-built semantic model across these functional areas that you're seeing here. And then, of course, we have a set of reports, dashboards, and visualizations. Now, if I look at FormFactor, if you look at finance, FormFactor had some very specific look and feel that they wanted for some of the reports. There were also some financial statement generator reports that we were having to replace. So for the finance deployment, some of our, quote, out-of-the-box reports were used, but there were also a set of custom reports that we built based on those fantastic requirements that we got from Marudi. When it came to procurement and supply chain, there was less of specific look and feel that FormFactor required, and more of the out-of-the-box reports in our accelerator were used during procurement and supply chain. And of course, people continue to, Marudi and team are continuing to enhance that. So these accelerators, you can think of this as the content, and it comes with, I'm on the right-hand side now, comes with the data pipeline, the data model, the semantic model, the reports and dashboards, and allows you to get up quickly in production with a full end-to-end solution with the reports and dashboards that most companies across these functional areas typically will be using, although we do tend to have to put their spin on it. And really, one of the biggest benefits is to be able to interact with your company's data in a more natural way, a seamless way, both horizontally and vertically. So you're able to shorten the cycle time, as Marudi said, shorten the cycle time to getting the answers to those loaded questions. Okay. Now, let's, Marudi, I'm going to turn it back to you. So you've done a project. You're actually live. Been live for a little bit here. So there's no conjecture here. This is real life. You're live. What's been the feedback? How are things going?
Yeah, the feedback has been phenomenal. Data warehouse, enterprise data warehouse is an infrastructure and platform as well as application combination. It's a journey. It never ends with a single project, right? So right now with the project, one of the biggest feedback that we got is the speed at which we delivered this entire project, right? So people with experience in the analytics space think of this as a ground up, start with the zero and build an analytics platform, right? So if you kind of build out for entire supply chain and finance application within 4 or 5 months, That's unheard of in the industry. So people are very happy about it, and within the application we have a lot of feedback. It reduces manual effort and dependency on IT, and it brings discipline as well with the data, and reduces dependence on individuals who became the stewards of Excel sheet versus you have the system that kind of supports. These are the feedbacks that we received, and we are pretty happy about it, and we are continue to invest in our journey with Apps Associate. They are doing a lot of other projects within that space where we have very specific needs that are evolving based on our success that we kind of achieved in building the baseline. Thanks, Miles.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Rudy. Now, before we go to full wrap up, are there any questions? Ken, did any questions come in?
Yeah, I've got one here, or actually two here. I know you talked about some of the users and everything. What was required from the business users during the implementation, and when and how do they get involved?
Rudy, you can.
So as I mentioned, right? So it's users involvement comes to the change management, and your leadership, how you engage is one aspect of it. How they are trying to engage, one aspect of it. How we want to deal with them is another aspect. So if if you go back to my slide on the data vision, if you may, Miles, right? So this one, right? So if you see the guiding principle number 2, right? So we'll have to have a combination of two things. One is having a data steward, I mean, who makes the calls, right, like about the data, because if not, you'll have a fragmented requirements from different people within the department, right? So we want to avoid that one. So you need to have data stewards and data owners identified. That's your first order of business, right? Once you do that one, you kind of agree on the requirements. So they take the ownership of the requirements that their business unit or their department gives. Once you kind of bring this discipline, it becomes easier for IT to kind of work with them, right? So that's the key aspect of it. And coming to engagement of business users, so it all boils down to how your senior management tries to project or markets this application. So that's another aspect that kind of helps us in terms of engaging with business users.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike-
Yeah, I've
now,
got
Mike,
two more questions. I encourage anybody to go ahead and put them in the chat too, because we can continue to answer these. Another one's around the accelerators, and I know Apps Associates kind of has pre-built these accelerators that can be used in the implementation. Were there any customizations that were required around these? And you can you describe any of those that you may have made or needed to make?
There are a couple of important ones that Miles touched upon, right? So we have the number of segments that we have versus based on our additional needs that we have, how we report to the street. We have added a couple more segments. That's fundamental change that you can do only in data warehouse, right? You cannot implement rollout that one in your EBS. You cannot do it in your EPBCS. So you have to go a different place where you kind of consolidate what EBS and EPBCS says and come up with a new perspective of seeing the data. So that's one of the major one, because that sets the tone for all your financial accounting information, your product group information, and your location information and whatnot, with another layer of EPBCS or planning related segments. Besides that one, there are needs comes from various sides, right? It can come from your data modeling side or your data collection side, or it can come from your reporting side. So we have had customizations came from all these three areas, but the fundamental structure have to be built out as your initial baseline, which is in line with the semantic model, right? So once you have that semantic model ready and your structures are up and running, and underlying customizations need not be visible to your end users. So that's the power of analytics. You kind of wrap up and you can do all the customization that you want. customizations on the front end part is relatively easier than the customizations in the back end. Miles, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, well, I might stress, number one, your team did a great job in the sense of two things, talking to the end users and finding out what was important to them in terms of how they interact with the data. And that set us up for success. And then the other is around the customization, and we don't ever suggest that there won't be customizations required. The one that you described, where we made a customization in the ETL, in the data pipeline, to essentially generate another segment of the chart of accounts, which was a composite of other values in your chart of accounts, which drove a lot of your financial reporting. That was really the most critical. We do need to sometimes bring in some other columns. For sure, we're going to make some customizations at the report level. I think we did some other customizations in the semantic model. That's fairly typical, and that's normally something that we'll do at the beginning of a project is understand the unique aspects. Every company over the years builds up some unique aspect of how they represent, particularly their financials, because the financials, every line item of a financial statement is an aggregation, and there's always some way of putting that aggregation together. It could be a mapping, it could be a hierarchy. It's the kind of thing we need to figure out pretty straight away early on. Yep.
All right. Okay, and the last question I have, once again, feel free to write one up and put it in the chat. I know we've talked about bringing the historical data, kind of touched on that a lot, but I guess how much historical data did you actually bring in? What was that process? What were the challenges around that? How many, from a financial data, how many years did you go back? I know there's probably a big discussion, but if you could just kind of touch on it at kind of a high level, Rudy, what you saw.
We started with 10 years and we got even more than that. At
You
least
got 10 years? Wow.
10 years of worth of data is being pulled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good bit of history. Not overwhelming
but
data.
we are like not huge, so 10 years
not huge
might
data.
not be very huge for our sized company. But it all boils down to what we need and what our business needs, right? So they want to go back to 10 years because we are lean and we are semiconductor. We kind of see a lot of changes. They want to track how things have progressed as well. So
Right.
our market is very dynamic in that sense. So we need that much of data to kind of come up with our evaluation.
Miles, I think that wraps up the questions that I had.
Okay. All right, great. Well, what we'll do then, we'll move on to next steps here. So if you have some interest here, so first of all, your Oracle rep kind of let you know, your Oracle representative is going to reach out to you to get your thoughts on the webinar. And if you're interested, schedule a follow-up discussion with us. So just want to let you know that will happen, so you can expect that call. Or if you're real like, hey, listen, I want to have a chat. This is a great opportunity for my company to get some analytics up and running quickly. You can send an email directly to me or my colleague, James Malloy. You can see our email addresses right there. Or if you want to go just right straight away and schedule a consultation, there's a website here. You can see the link where you can just go in and request a consultation. What we'll do there, basically, we'll have a conversation. It's not some hard sell thing. There's no obligation coming out of that. It's just a conversation. Hey, I'd like to have a conversation. Let me talk to you about what's going on in my company. You can talk to me about the accelerators and Oracle's modern data platform. And is it going to help us? So it's just a conversation, that's all. And if it makes sense coming out of that for us to do a bit more analysis, maybe even a gap analysis of your current solution versus our accelerators on the Oracle Modern Data Platform, we're happy to do that as well. Also, as long as the scope isn't super large, we are happy to do a proof of concept. For instance, Rudy, I don't even think we mentioned it. We did a proof of concept for Maruti. He gave us some of his data. We loaded it into our accelerators, and we did a demo for the executives, for the controller, CFO, et cetera. And if that's something that you would be interested in, we could do that as well. Okay. All right, excellent. Well, I think, Ken, that'll wrap it up unless there's any more questions.
Yeah, great job, Johnny, Miles, and Rudy. Very nice. Really appreciate you presenting today. I thought we had a great discussion, everything, and thanks for everybody else that's joining. And hope you have a good rest of your day. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Super. Thank you, Ken. Thank you,
Thanks,
Rudy.
Ken. Thanks,
Thank
Johnny.
you.
Thanks, Miles.